Welcome to the Crescendo podcast, a show where we highlight upcoming and current artists from the UK and beyond. Today, we welcome our wonderful guest, who is an emerging alternative country and indie singer-songwriter from Newcastle, known for emotionally strong songwriting and atmospheric vocal styles. I'm not speaking English, all right. She has gradually built a reputation in the UK's independent music scene through live performances, local support, online releases, and maybe some help from BBC introducing as well.
Yeah.
She has recently released her EP, Just What I Do, where she's been building her reputation as an emotionally expressive singer-songwriter. So, Hels Pattison, welcome to the podcast.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thank you very much. It's such a wonderful thing that you're here. I found you online, and I was just excited to because I like country as well. Like
Oh,
I like a lot
really?
of things, but yeah, I
Country's coming
appreciate.
back. It's becoming cool again.
Yeah, oh yeah. I just spoke to Smith and Liddle, the
Yeah,
band
I
as
listened
well.
to the
Yeah.
chat with them last week.
Yeah, it's great. Like they were just talking about like how they want to go to America and they want to go
Mm.
travel and I think, yeah. I mean, we can start by this conversation to be fair. Like when I found you on like Instagram, the way you were promoting everything was it's quite clearly like to show that you want to do something, but also like showing your music and you performing in Darlington, I think next week on the
Yeah,
12th.
next Thursday, I think it is.
Yeah,
Thursday the 12th.
yeah. So my first question would be is how's the tour faring for you? I mean, first thing. Another thing is for people who might have just discovered your music for the first time, can you walk us through your journey of like from starting to write songs to performing live and how those experiences have shaped you as an artist?
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, I can start by saying that the tour is a lot of fun. I'm in the lucky position where my guitarist is also my partner, so it's not been too much of a kind of taking a huge bunch of time out of our lives. We've been on tour for 2 weeks now, and we're kind of treating it like a holiday where we get to play music, which is just fantastic. So we started in the Isle of Wight and we've like tacked our way back up the country. I think the point of this tour wasn't necessarily to like sell out venues and make money, which I don't think anyone goes out on tour anymore to try and make money, but it was to try and like reach new people that wouldn't necessarily have heard of me and like kind of just start to build those connections around the country because I'm starting to feel quite established in the Northeast, which is fantastic because it's such a good music scene up there. It's really hard to then branch out into a more of like a national capacity without just going out and going to places and meeting people, you know? So the tour's been great for that. We've been invited back to pretty much every venue, which is nice. So, phew. Um, yeah, and I've met so many like really just kind people who just take a chance on going out and seeing a band that they've never heard of, or like seeing that there's something happening in their town. Like in the Isle of Wight, there was a girl who just found out that there was some music on and gave my music a listen, and my streams went up by like crazy in that week because apparently she was just saying rinsing the Spotify. And then she came and spoke to me and she was like, I've been a fan of yours for a week, but I'm so happy that I discovered you. So there's like little interactions like that that just kind of make it worth it, you know? So we've had a great time. We're still technically on tour at the moment, but we're doing the last part of it from the Northeast. So it's very much like a work on 9 to 5 and then go and do a show. So it's slightly less glamorous than it was on the road. But yeah, it's been great. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. When did you start writing and like how was it it
yeah,
just
my
came to be?
musical journey's been weird. Like, I feel like it's been a bit turbulent because I basically so I started writing when I was quite young, but I was in like a country folk duo with my twin sister. So we started playing music together when we were like maybe 14. We started gigging together. We were writing songs together, but we were writing songs very much from like that kind of early teenage point of view of the world. And this is the first time that I have started writing songs for like from my perspective individually. So it's like it's a bit of a change of style. And I think that I've accidentally hugely overshared is what I'd say. Because I think when you're writing with another person, you keep a lot of that kind of internal monologue to yourself a bit. And then when you're writing for the sake of, I guess, the current project that is just me, right? It's like it was less of a trying to be a musician and more of a trying to process my emotions. So like the most recent EP, that was more me just trying to deal with relationships and breakups and, the kind of navigating your way through a messy love life, and wasn't necessarily going to be a project. It was just more therapeutic for me. And then I met Zach, my guitarist, and he knew Alex, my bassist. I already knew Annika, my drummer, and it happened very organically where they were like, "Oh, I like your songs. Can I play with you?" So it became an actual project way quicker than I was expecting it to. And all of a sudden I'm like, I'm now just going to tell everybody in the Northeast all of my darkest thoughts. I think that's what makes it engaging, right? It's true. It's maybe too true.
Listening to it as well, like you say it's your darkest thoughts, but you make it seem like it's so light and it's so like
That's the
so
joy
so
of country
expressive.
music.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like you can put the occasional line that's like a little bit like, "Oh, that's concerning. Should we reach out and see if she's okay?" But you sprinkle it with this nice kind of pretty country guitar lick, and everyone's tapping their toe along to it. And it's only when you actually read the lyrics you're like, "We should probably check on
Re-
Helen."
Is she really saying about that about her? Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I know. But I understand. Like it's so good at the way you project it to people. People can understand it, but they can also enjoy the music with it as well.
But I think that's something that I really enjoy about songwriting, is that you can take an emotion that's universal, but then apply it to a really specific situation that happened to me. But then I think people appreciate knowing that someone else has gone through that and can kind of, I don't know, make them feel seen, I guess. Like some of my favorite songs of all time, like obviously country songs, but the Chicks are so good at taking like this emotion of like grief or loss or something and just wrapping it up in this really like pretty parcel that makes you think like, "Oh, that's a sweet song." And then it's only afterwards that you find yourself like you listen to it for a second time and you're crying your eyes out. But I think it makes you connect with the artist. It makes you connect with the song a bit more. I think that's kind of what I'm trying to do. Unintentionally at first, but now intentionally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, this is a random question. Like, do you think you're gonna make an album in the future?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
It goes
because
to the
yeah,
point now where I have so many songs. Like I kind of I churn out songs quite quickly, and then I very quickly reject them, and then I come back to them and I'm like, "Oh, maybe I can rework that." But now that Zach and I have started writing together, we'll sit down with like an idea, like let's write a song about this situation that happened to us yesterday. And then within like 20 minutes, we've got a whole song. So I've gotten to the point now that I've got just so many songs that I love playing live that I'd love to be able to say, if you like that one, you can hear it here. So it just
yeah.
makes sense to package it into one thing. So I'd love to make an album. That's definitely the goal.
But EPs always feel unfinished, like doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I mean, we talk about the EP now. I mean, it explores everything, like you say, relationships, vulnerability, and growth as a
Yeah.
person, and that kind of thing. Could you talk us about the inspiration behind the EP, as in the whole collection? And I'm also
Yeah.
interested about how the creative process was like.
So, I mean, the EP was a little bit of a weird one because it wasn't necessarily written together with the purpose of being like, I'm going to write 4 songs that tell this story. But it was like, so each song I would say was probably written from maybe even like a different relationship or a different experience that happened over like, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. It wasn't like a short period of time. But I think we chose those 4 songs to be on it. The idea being it kind of tells that, I know, circular narrative of that feeling of falling in love and then losing love. And then the idea is we ended the last song with this kind of almost like howling wind, which then comes back into the intro track, which starts with this kind of howling wind thing. So the idea is that it's supposed to be this kind of circular narrative. But yeah, the first song I think is On the Horizon, and I wrote that just because I was honestly feeling really lonely, and the whole song is got lots of metaphors about loneliness and being stranded on an island and stuff. And I think that kind of that emotion for me is like the way that I wrote it was almost like it was at a point where I felt like I needed somebody to change that, like I needed another person to make me feel whole. And then I guess the rest of the EP is kind of like, oh, now I found somebody and I'm a better person. And then the next song is, but what if they leave me and I'm really scared that this might end. And then the last song, which is just what I do, is this, well, I'll end it first then so that I don't have to go through the heartbreak of ending it. And then it's like, oh, well, now I'm lonely again. So I think that was kind of, and that was a genuine pattern of, again, I'm just oversharing here, but that was a pattern of my life where I was kind of like, I know, I guess a bit guarded, then really desperate to share my life with somebody, but then also really scared at the idea of letting somebody in. Yeah. And now I'm in a happy relationship, so
Yeah.
I don't feel that anymore.
Good.
But I
Good.
listen back to the EP and I do kind of, I really, I really engage back with those emotions and go, God, like, do you remember when you felt like that? That was mad.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of where those 4 songs came from, because they were written at times that I really had those emotions, and they were kind of, it was a bit of a life cycle for me. So it felt right to kind of turn it into a cycle of music, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you you never overtalk. You just share what you need
Honestly,
to share. You
honestly,
know what I'm saying? No, it's fine.
might as well be sitting here in my
No,
diary
no,
room
but this is the
saying,
point. This is the
I'm
point of
about to.
music. Yeah, I know, but this is the point of, not only podcast, but this is the point of music, is to share experiences, and
Yeah.
like you don't regret it.
And I think there's no point holding back when you're kind of making something creative, because music for me is like a way of processing things. And it's a, like, I used to joke with my sister when we were in our first projects, what, like 15 years ago. And she'd be like, you only ever write sad songs. I'm like, it's because I write songs when I'm feeling sad, and then I feel happy because I've written something that I'm proud of. So I'm generally a happy person, because every time I feel sad, I'll write a song and then I'm not sad anymore, you know? But then you hear my songs and you're like, God, she must be such a sad person. Like, I'm really not. It's just these little pockets of emotion, you know? But yeah, I find it really satisfying, kind of conveying a really specific emotion via song.
Play piano, so I do exactly the same thing, but I'm piano, so I
Piano is
don't.
such an emotional
Yeah,
instrument as well. I
yeah,
feel like you can get so much more emotion out with it.
yeah, yeah. That would be a question then. Like, what you have a lot of guitars in your music, that kind of thing. Would you have more piano in your music? I know you have some, but would you like to have more piano in your music?
I mean, so I started playing piano. The only so I've always loved country music, and the only reason that I played piano is because I have a twin sister and she played guitar. And as a twin, when you're younger, everything has to be like, that's mine. Like, you can't do that
Yeah,
because
it's
that's
hard, isn't it?
what I do. You know, that's my hobby. So you have to pick something else. And both of us loved country music, but she was the dominant twin. So she got to pick her instrument first. She picked guitar, all well and good. And I was like, oh, well, I'll play piano. And I really enjoy playing piano, but I would just use it as a way of writing. I don't think I'd ever perform on piano. I'm not good enough. And then we got to the point where we were older and we were less headbutty. And I was like, I think I might start playing guitar. And then she actually taught me. So it ended up being quite nice. But I would love to put more piano on songs, because yeah, I think it's such a beautiful instrument. And but no, maybe it's not less country. Mary Chapin Carpenter has loads of piano on her
Piano parts, yeah,
music, but
yeah. But
it has to be more like honky tonk, right? And
yes,
that's a whole
yeah, the
a whole
whole
different.
different. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But
but
yeah, definitely.
yeah. Uh, no, this is great. This is so good right now. We're talking. I'm so fleshed out. I'm not even looking at my script. We're just talking, and yeah, this is good because I like to ask questions like, "What's your biggest fear?"
Oh, biggest fear. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I think you can listen to the EP and you can tell that my biggest fear would be like, I mean, I guess maybe it's an abandonment thing, but I think there is definitely something in being a twin where I've spent my entire life being one half of a parcel, right? Like, I've not that I'm like half a person, but me and her were so codependent when we were younger. And then all of a sudden you get thrown into this, like, now you're gonna go to university and you're gonna be apart. And it's like, oh God, like, who the hell am I on my own? And even like when it came to music, like, music was our thing. We played music together, and it was only when we went to uni that we stopped playing music as a duo. And then you kind of have to find your identity as a person, your identity as a musician. Like, do I even want to be a musician? You know, and these are all these kind of questions that I look like really had to kind of come to terms with. And yeah, I think that a big fear that comes across in a lot of my songs is like, but what if I end up by myself? Because I feel like I'm so used to being a two. And
codependent. Then yeah,
yeah, I know. I mean, like, obviously as I've gotten older, I've gotten much more comfortable in my own company. I am much better at being alone now. But I think it was like COVID was a big kind of shock for me because I went from being around everybody and then all of a sudden you're on your own. You're like back at your parents' house and you're a solo person. And yeah, that was when this project kind of started to come out of me of like, what if this is it? What if this is the peak of my life and it never gets any better and I'm by myself, you know? God, that's so depressing.
No, it's not depressing. It's just no, it's just inner thoughts, but opportunities will come, and you're still on tour now. So I mean, you don't need to worry too much
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
yeah.
I just hope for more for you. I mean, that's the best part of it, isn't it?
But I think maybe that's something in the kind of the joy of being a musician is that you can write about these things about, you know, being on your own and being scared to be on your own. But I never feel I'm like alone, right? Because there's always I feel like that's my way of connecting with people is that people can listen to that music and if they're also feeling like that, they tell me. And I love that. I love when people come over to me after a show and go, well, I've felt like that. And it sucks, but that really spoke to me, you know? There's something really special about that, you know?
I mean, we just go back to on the horizon. Like that's my favorite song. To be fair, like I felt
That's
so
the
much.
saddest thing.
It's the saddest one. That's the point. I'm
That's
a,
why.
I'm a very emotional person as well. So like
Mhm.
I really enjoyed the way it so brings back those like older music vibes and that kind of thing and
Cool.
like
I'm glad that
going
you've
yeah. I'm glad about that too. But it feels so modern. It feels so like this is somebody's life right now happening.
Yeah.
Would you say the same thing?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I am trying to do. I think I really like this, like, taking influences from older music, like, obviously, Zach loves to play slide guitar, so we have quite a lot of, like, slide tracks in a lot of our songs, and taking this kind of inspiration from this classic old school country, but then the lyrics are very much like 21st century. It drops you into kind of a snapshot of life right now, which particularly because I wrote it during COVID. So I was like, it kind of was that the little slice of life that I think everyone was feeling then. But yeah, I definitely On the Horizon was one of those weird ones because I think when we recorded it, we had a really specific idea of how we wanted it to sound, and we weren't prepared to like change the like it needs to have this slide, it needs to feel like ambiguous and kind of like harrowing. So the slide track, I think when it comes in, this is the reason we have the intro track as well, to make it feel kind of almost like ominous, and you can't quite place the key, you don't quite know what's going to happen until the strumming comes in, and then that grounds you, right? And I think it was all very much a stylistic choice of being like, I want someone to feel that uneasiness that the song's kind of about. And yeah, I think that, I mean, most of the creative decisions were Zach rather than me, but I think that he kind of crushed it. 'Cause I wrote that song on piano, and I think that's why it's quite an emotional song. Because the chords of it, I feel like it moves the way that like it breathes the way that it would sound on a piano. It sounds great on piano, to be fair. Maybe I should have recorded it with that.
There's always another chance to do something like that. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
let's go to your website to be fair. Like I was just browsing, I was like, what should I ask questions about? Like
Mm.
you talked about artists, you talk about First Aid Kid, the Casey Musgraves and like
Yeah, I love Casey Musgraves.
Chaperone and that kind of thing. I mean, how does those kind of influence show up in your music? And like you said, you write a lot with Zach now. Like
Yeah.
how does it mix together?
I mean, it's quite interesting because Zach is not a country player at all. And it's the same with the rest of the band. So I've my bassist Alex is like a huge fan of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. And that's not something that you'd expect. But then when you hear some of his bass licks, they're quite like almost like funky and quite like kind of psychedelic. And same with my drummer's a huge fan of Limp Bizkit. So just
Really?
between the four of us, we have the weirdest fusion of genres that we enjoy. But I think I'm definitely pushing it in more of a country direction. But then when I bring it to the band and you get this weird like mishmash concoction of everybody's input, it turns into something that isn't quite country, but it isn't quite blues and it isn't quite funk, and it I feel like the stuff that we're making now, the EP was probably a bit more like on the acoustic side of like sounding, but the stuff that we're making now is like really starting to feel like this kind of Americana, but a bit of like a twist. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it's
No,
really interesting the kind of stuff
yeah.
that's like coming out of us, which which I'm really enjoying because it's definitely not something that I could have done by myself, you know? So it's like, but I mean, my influences are definitely country, like through and through. When I was a kid, if you asked me what I wanted to be when I was older, I'd always say Natalie Maines, who's the lead singer of the
Yeah.
Chicks, because I just was obsessed with her. But a lot of my influences come from that kind of harmony based music. So like First Aid Kit and the Chicks and the Indigo Girls and the Wreckers. So all these kind of like harmony female vocalists. And I think that's why the songs that I write are very like melodic. And I don't think I could ever do anything that's kind of edgy and kind of grungy because I love these like big country melodies too much, you know? But yeah, definitely the country influence is there in my voice and my melodies. And then the music in the background is like just it's getting more and more interesting, you know, as everyone's starting to get more creative.
Yeah. Is one question in my head is songwriting is storytelling or just performance based? Like, what do you think?
Well, it's funny. If you asked me a few years ago, I'd say that like songwriting was more poetry. Like I wouldn't have necessarily called myself a songwriter because I didn't necessarily consider myself a musician. I would call myself a poet because I care so much more about the lyrics than I do about the melody. The lyrics are the thing that I listen to. You could have a song that's got a fantastic melody, really catchy, but if the lyrics don't speak to me, then I'm never going to listen to it again, you know? But now that I've like started playing live so much, like I only just learned how to stand up and play guitar at the same time a couple of years ago. Like I'm not really like I'm not a vet at this, you know. But yeah, I there's something about the writing of a song that's kind of I don't know this poem of really specific moments that I love to talk about, and then you tell the story about it on stage. People hear those things in the song, and they're like, "Oh, that's what she meant when she said that." Um, she's annoyed at her mum, and then that's what she meant when she said that she experienced grief. And do you know what I mean? Like, I think there's that performance of it that needs to happen for people to be able to connect with it. So now I'd say it's a performance thing for sure. But a couple of years ago, I would have been like, the poems, they're for me. They're not for anybody else. But sharing it has become a huge part of the reason why I love it, you know? So I'm not sure that even answered your question. I think I was
No,
just
no, it
very
does. It
looking in that.
does. Because yeah, I mean, you talk about even your music video for this. I'm playing it because I like the song so much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How did that came about? Like, how did you plan it?
So I'm not a very visually creative person. I'd say
Fair
that
enough.
I like words, but I don't. So the music video idea was much more Zach than it was me. But we have a friend called Ellen, and they are like a photographer, videographer, and they have this idea of going to the beach and like taking the mattress and stuff. And it was like the idea was that we wanted it to be sunrise, and we got there at like 4:30 in the morning, and it was so cold, and I was wearing no makeup, and I wasn't necessarily expecting that we would like just start shooting straight away. But there's something in the fact that I'm quite clearly wearing no makeup and I'm quite clearly exhausted. And I think that works for the song, you know? And yeah, it was a very, very cold and very like kind of glum
It's not
experience.
summer, is it?
But that's what the song is about, you know. If I
Yeah.
was dolled up to the nines, and initially we'd spoken, me and Ellen, about wearing this like long flowy dress and kind of running around the beach and stuff. And we came to the conclusion that it just wouldn't be right for the song. You know, I need to be wearing my pajamas that I wore every day during COVID, and I need to be wrapped in the blanket that I was wrapped in every day during COVID. The whole thing is very, it's raw and it's exposing, and it's maybe too exposing, but the song is exposing. So it only made sense to me that the visuals matched that, you know?
You see artists now, by the way, like doing some of their songs, they don't have music videos, but they put the lyrics up and there's like all the scenes and
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, yeah, when you have your album in the future, like, would you like to do something like that?
Yeah, definitely. I love a lyric video. Also because I think I've had a lot of people saying that they don't know what I'm saying a lot of the time. Yes, I'm not sure if I've got a strong accent or if I use a lot of like weird, quirky phrases. But yeah, I think there is something really cool about having a visual to go along with a song because it's something else I latch onto, you know. And the world has become so visual. People want to. You mean you're not gonna get any kind of engagement if you're just it's going like, here is my song, here is a black screen, but please enjoy it. Please listen to it. You need to have
Yeah.
that kind of something in the background too. So yeah, there's some people who are so good at it though, and I wouldn't even know where to start if I'm being honest with you. But yeah, I would love to do something like that, I think.
Yeah.
And social media has become, musicians have to be content creators, and we have to be good at social media, and we have to be good performers, and we have to say too much. It's
Yeah, I
just like,
know, I know.
so I word vomit and I hope for the best.
Yeah, of course. I think we're old enough to think about like MTV and like tapes and
Yeah,
that kind of thing. And like, it's such a different time now. Like, it's just crazy. And
I know.
I have the question about the social media thing. I said it was like a powerful tool for artists, and you said it was like it's there for me to show my life, but also like I can do something creative about my music.
But I think so. What I've kind of noticed recently is that obviously the music isn't necessarily enough for people anymore. They also want to know who you are as a person. They want to know what you like. They want to know, like, I don't know, how you enjoy your day, how you dance, how they like, there's so much that I think people want to know. Like, I think it's really interesting that the top of the charts are these individuals now. You've got like what, Chapel Roan and Billie Eilish and Sabrina Carpenter. They're people that really have this like brand that's this slice of their life, and it's because people want to know that as an individual, who are you and why should I listen to your music on the basis of, if your music is about you and your experiences, I want to know who you are so that I know that I'm going to be able to enjoy the music. And I don't know. I think there's something that social media is, I guess, given, but also taken from the experience of music. It's like you're not necessarily just experiencing the music anymore, you're experiencing the person. And because you can access that person so widely and so easily, it's like having a great song isn't necessarily enough. I have to know why you wrote it, everything that you thought in the lead up to it, all of your choices, and like, and it's great in one way, but then it's also really like intimidating in another, because I'm like, well, what if you're disappointed? What if you really like that song and then I tell you that it was about, my breakfast one day, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
sucks, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like I'm not explaining it very well, but I do find it interesting that this rise of social media has created these megastars that are also, it's so clear who they are, and
Yeah.
you want to know who they are. There's not that kind of that veil anymore of, you can almost hide behind the song. That's not enough, you know.
Yeah.
So, and I think in a way that's great, because I really enjoy expressing myself on social media. I think it's fun. I love chatting about being creative, and I love that. But then there is an element where it's terrible, but sometimes I go like, it's been 48 hours since I said anything to my, what, like 200 people who care. Like, it's stupid, and I
Wow.
don't know why I get so worked up about it. But yeah, it's a whole nother full-time job, just kind of talking about yourself. It's borderline narcissistic, but
It's trying to be creative and that kind of thing. Like when I started the podcast as well, it's like, are you posting enough? Like, are you posting every
yeah,
week? Like, I can't do that.
it's
It's life,
exhausting.
and oh, it's
I think
terrible.
it's incredible, the people who can stay on top of it. But I'm just
Yeah.
like, I also have a 9 to 5 audit job,
Yeah. Yeah.
I physically can't stay on top of it.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I
Yeah.
enjoy it. And I only give as much of myself as I'm prepared to give, which, to be fair, is quite a lot. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely a fun way of also being creative, in a way that you can use your music and explain your music without necessarily having to be like, come to my show all the
My
time.
show, like,
Yeah.
it's only half an hour away. Like,
Yeah. Buy my ticket, buy my album, but it gets a bit ramming things down people's throats as it is.
it's when people like the music, people will support you nonetheless. Like, have
Yeah.
you
And it's
found
been
like,
really
yeah,
boring.
yeah, have you found during your tours like people just being so supportive? Like, I've listened to you
Yeah.
on the radio, I listened to you on somewhere, and I'm just like, oh, let's just drive an hour to go. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly. I mean, like, we were on the Isle of Wight. I've been calling it an overseas tour because we went to but there were people there who were just like, they were just so like specifically kind. I feel like it's one thing to be like, oh, I heard you and I like your music. There's another thing to be like, oh, I listened to Merry Go Round and I love the part where you do that stop and it's like so, do you know, like I feel like people have wanted to tell me really specific compliments, which that actually makes me feel like they have really listened and they really enjoyed it, you know? And that's been surprising, like around the country, that there's been, you know, a couple of people at every show that have like aren't just doing the civil thing of being like, oh, that was good. Like they're doing a really like specific like kind of thing, and then inviting us back. And um, the girl who supported us in Wales, she has invited us to a songwriter circle at Focus Wales. So it's kind of like all these little connections that we're making, and it feels very authentic. It feels very genuine, and it's just yeah, it's really nice.
Good. Yeah,
Very
it's
humbling, you
great.
know.
It's very humbling, but it's also like you you appreciate people understanding your music as well.
Yeah. But I also think there is just something about musicians. That there's very, very few people that I've met in my experience that want to get to the top at the sake of anyone else. Like they want to almost like scramble their way up and they don't care if they knock people down in the process. Pretty much everybody that I've met has been like, oh, I have this platform. So let me help you get onto it. This is how I did it. Like, I mean, Smith and Little have been fantastic with giving me advice, you know, and I've given other people advice. And I'm not sure if that's initially I was like, that's a Northeast thing because the Northeast is just such friendly and such a, but then my experience of now doing this like nationwide, like and going to all the little kind of microcosms of this music community has made me realize that everybody wants that. Everybody wants to help each other. Like, and it's been really heartwarming that musicians as a whole, we're all aware that it is so hard for anyone to
Oh
like
yeah.
break through that ceiling. So if anyone can do it, we're like, let's make this happen for somebody. Like, I love your stuff and I want you to go far. So this is my leg up that I have.
Yeah.
You know? It's yeah,
Yeah.
it's
No.
great. I love
Well,
musicians. I
yeah,
think they're great people.
of course. But that's the point that a lot of people are trying to make is like when I started this podcast as well, like I was just thinking, oh, it's I've been talking about music myself. I'm very classically trained and that kind of thing. So,
Hmm.
but I would really like to share that with everybody else, other styles of music, because I'm not just a classical nerd who knows Beethoven and Bach and everything else, which I do,
Yeah, nothing wrong
but
with it.
nothing wrong with it. But I like so many other music as well, like
Mhm.
country and jazz. I listened to a lot of Blake Shelton when I was younger,
Oh yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
is very yeah, because of the voice and
Yeah,
I forgot the artist's name, but there's somebody who wrote a lot of music for like Whitney Houston and that kind of thing, and
yeah, sure.
he was doing so many things as well. So I think, yeah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
do you find Newcastle like I know Newcastle is there's so many gigs everywhere. Like I haven't been to anyone yet.
yeah.
Might be going to one of them, but but like, how is music like when you were growing up there?
Yeah, I mean, so I wasn't necessarily like a particularly musical kid. Like, I don't think that I wasn't one of those kids that was so plugged into the music scene that I would go to all of these like small local shows and stuff, which I'm like, I look back at it and I really wish I had have been because I really want kids now to experience that kind of smaller side of music in Newcastle because I feel like there's so many people who want to go to these big shows at the arena. I'm like, but do you know how many great shows are happening at the Clooney or like the engine rooms? Like there's so many great venues that are putting on these amazing shows that just don't seem to get to those people. So I really wish I was one of those people. But I think that there is something about Newcastle and the like pride of being from the Northeast that has translated into the music of a lot of, if not my music, a lot of people that I know and a lot of musicians that I love and like look up to. And I think that that has kind of created this kind of pride in Newcastle and in music and in the music scene. And yeah, I'm not really sure if being from the Northeast was the reason why I got into music, but it's certainly the reason why I've continued playing music, you know? Because yeah, there's something very special about Newcastle. And it's hard to put your finger on it. And the music scene is so saturated for sure. Like there are so many artists, but I think it's saturated for a good reason because everybody's so passionate about what they're doing, you know? And that passion absolutely just it rubs off on you.
Yeah,
And it makes you wanna be better. It makes you wanna support everybody. And I mean,
yeah, of
I think
course.
There's a guy called Alan who just comes to every single show of everybody in the local area. And I was speaking to him the other day, and he was like, "When are you next playing Newcastle?" I was like, "Oh, the 15th." He goes, "Great, I'm not doing anything on the 15th." Saw his calendar. He's got a gig every
Yeah,
single night for
yeah,
like the next
every
month.
single night. Yeah, I'm not sure
It's
whether I met
incredible.
her. I'm not sure whether I met him. To be fair, like, I've been to Milia Coburn's concert in
Yeah, I love
Leicester
Amelia
Cathedral as
Coburn.
well. Yeah, she's great. I'm yet to do an interview, but yeah, oh, I said maybe when she's done with her album and that kind of thing now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
She's a
yeah, I mean,
fantastic
yeah,
singer as well.
yeah. There was somebody there who was like, I'm just feeling in my guts. It's like this guy is going to every single gig, every
Yeah.
single gig around.
Yeah.
But he has to
And
travel
there are
very
like
far. Yeah, yeah.
there are a lot of people like that, I think, in the Northeast that just like love the scene so much that they're like, it would be an absolute travesty if like another independent venue was to close or if another artist was to give up because they're just not getting enough people through the door. So they're like, well, let's try and make sure that we're through every door we can physically go through. Let's make sure we're getting some bums on seats. And it's just, yeah,
Yeah.
and I think that was my experience growing up in my household wasn't necessarily that it was full of musicians. Like my parents aren't hugely musical, but they are the biggest music appreciators that I know. My dad loves music. He would buy 3 albums every day, and he like has this like file where he catalogs all of his music, and he knows where it is in the house. And it's like there was never a moment where you'd walk into a room in my house and there wasn't something playing. And I think having music around me at all times, maybe then when I went off to uni and music wasn't necessarily around me at all times, I was like, this needs to change. I need to, inject music back into my life. So I guess and that's probably Newcastle's influence of just being such a musical place.
Yeah, that's good. I've studied in Portsmouth for years and like met so many artists there as well, but I just didn't have the medium to do this podcast at the moment.
Mm.
It's just no time. You're just studying and doing things. But you listen to music and it's like, oh, there's a local band playing, like Crystal Tides or from Portsmouth as well. I don't know whether you heard them. Yeah, they're going everywhere now. And I wish I could have supported them when they were much smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, it does make you think like for every one band that does get to a point where they can then, travel the globe and
Hmm.
tour everywhere. It's like there's another like 20 bands that tried to get through that are probably just as good, but didn't quite get to that point where people were coming regularly. And it's just like, yeah, I mean, obviously everyone says this, but there is so much luck to it, and
Yeah.
it's absolutely it's a lottery. And I think that is the great thing with people that I've met. I think everybody just they want somebody to win that lottery, And I'm under no disillusion that I'm going to be like a huge star or anything, but it's the more people that you connect to, the more that you start thinking like, oh, I could get my music into more people's ears, and I could get to a point where I'm playing the kind of the shows and the festivals that I really want to play. And how cool would that be? Like,
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I'm doing it.
Have you ever wanted to play outside the UK? Like where specifically?
So I used to live in Canada. I was in Canada
Oh,
for
okay.
3 years. Vancouver. I would love to play in Vancouver. I think it's called the Commodore Ballroom. And I went to go see a band called Narco and Medicine for the People, who were fantastic. And I saw them there, and I was just like, this is such a cool venue. So that would be like my dream venue would be the Commodore Ballroom in Vancouver. Canada in general is a very country music loving place. So I felt right at home there.
Yeah. And what do you think if you traveled that far or anywhere in Europe for the sake of saying this? When you're traveling and like different cultures and that kind of thing, when they
Mm.
listen to your music or when they listen to it live, they might have some different opinions about it. Maybe.
Yeah, that would be really interesting to hear because obviously
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of my songs come from like a very specific experience of living in the north of England, right?
Yeah.
So it would be, I mean, I always find it interesting when if I don't tell a story about what a song is about, and then somebody comes over afterwards and tells me what they had taken away from it. And I'm like, oh, that's not what it was supposed to be about when I wrote it, but it's a completely valid like takeaway, I think that's the joy of music though, isn't it? Everyone's interpretation is so different. And yeah, it would be really interesting to see what different like cultures and different places thought was the takeaway from specific songs that mean something so deeply personal to me, but could mean something much more ambiguous to somebody else, you know?
Yeah, yeah. If you think about it, in the future, you're gonna make music for a band
Mhm.
specifically, like how now we're gonna think about how we're gonna bring the whole band everywhere. Like, would it be
Yeah.
a different? Would it be different people? Like, I mean, it might be the same people, but what do you
Um,
think about that?
I mean, I would love it to be the band that have like very much started this project with me, you know, made it feel like it was something that could get off the ground, you know. My issue is that everybody in my band works 9 to 5, and asking someone to take off 2 or 3 weeks for something that is also more or less a full-time job is really difficult. But I also know that, so Zach, my guitarist, Alex, my bassist, and Annika, my drummer, they all love the songs. They're all passionate about the project. All of us are really good friends. And I think that something that Zach and I have done on this tour is that we've definitely treated it like it's our holiday and we get to play a show tonight. And how cool is that? And I think that the four of us could definitely be like, let's just go on a holiday. Let's play some shows. Let's expect to like meet people and have fun, but let's not expect to like come out of this in any kind
Yeah,
of profit. You know, let's
yeah,
expect to
yeah.
come out of this with just a great experience and having a great time. And I think that I couldn't imagine making the music that I'm making and doing this project that I'm doing with any other people. Like I couldn't
Yeah,
imagine. I'm sure there are great music. I'm sure there's great guitarists and I'm sure there's great bassists and I'm sure there's all these people who would have really interesting creative output. But like the songs sound the way that they sound because these three people and myself have morphed it into this sound, you know? And I don't think I'd be interested in doing it with anybody else. Yeah.
which is that's how you stay true to yourself.
Yeah.
I'm making music because I want to do it, and I like the sound.
Because I want to do that. I like this sound and I like this sound with these people, you know? And yeah, we've
Yeah,
gotten to a point where we're so tight now, you know? Like I feel
yeah,
like we seem so good together. Like I
yeah,
wouldn't change that.
yeah. Of course.
When it stops being fun, right? That's when,
Mm,
like, what's the point?
yeah,
At the end of
yeah.
the
What's the
day,
point?
it has to be it has to be fun, and I think with the four of us, we just have so much fun together, you know?
Yeah, but it must be a dream to just do this thing full time.
God, oh, great.
Right. Yeah, we won't look too far. But what's the plan now for the future of whatever you're gonna do?
So, I mean, I think that now that we've done or are kind of currently on this acoustic tour, that's absolutely given me a taste for getting shows out of even out of the UK. Like, I think that every year we're just trying to do something a little bit bigger than we did the year before. And we're just kind of taking it a step at a time. So we're not being like, okay, we're going to go from here and then, you know, we're going to headline Glastonbury next year. There's no kind of, everything is spelt
Dream
so,
big, dream
yeah,
big.
you have to, right? But everything has felt so kind of, I don't know, and I'm not sure if it's because we're data analysts and accountants and we're very pragmatic people, but I think we've kind of put the building blocks of a really good project in place, and now it's just doing the hard graft of getting it to people's ears, which is the difficult part, right? But yeah, I think touring with a band, going out of the UK would be incredible. I have family in France, and I'd love to go over and do like a little tour of Europe.
Yeah, and
And then
Canada.
yeah, I'd love to go there. Um, and I think that we've gotten to a point now where we've kind of solidified our sound. So I want it to be more Americana, and I want it to be a little bit more of the kind of the heavier side, a bit more electric, a bit more kind of thigh slapping. You know. So I think that's where I'm at. I'm like, I want us to be supporting more kind of country artists, and I want us to be going to these festivals that are more bluegrass based. So I think that's the next steps for sure.
You have people yeah, yeah, you have people who basically do the support when you're performing live outside, no? Could you share with us, like, a few of those people who, like, have played for you
Like my
before your performances? Yeah, you're like your support net.
So on the tour, we've had some really cool supports. There was a lass in Wrexham called Megan Lee, a Welsh singer-songwriter, and she was fantastic. So absolute favorite. In terms of in like Newcastle, there's the Often Heard, who we actually supported last Sunday, but they're this like bluegrass Newcastle based outfit, and
Yeah.
they're just so, so good. So incredibly good. There's I have a friend called Grace Elizabeth Harvey.
Mhm.
She's like won awards for her songwriting and stuff. Like her songs are just like heart-wrenchingly beautiful. So she would be one of my all-time favorites. And then last night we played in Berwick, and a good friend of ours called Ezra Briggs, who has coined the term dark folk musician, and
Yeah.
he was supporting us yesterday, and he's fantastic as well. There are so many people I wish that I'd like written some names down,
Yeah, of
but yeah,
course.
I have a lot of favorites. I have a lot of people
Yeah, good. Yeah,
that I
that's why I
yeah.
asked the question, to be fair,
It's so
like,
hard to like limit it.
it's so hard, yeah. But sometimes in this industry, you can't have favorites, but
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
favorites in the end, and the same thing, so yeah.
yeah. I have a friend called Tommy Arch who's supporting us on Hexham next Saturday, and his music is just like so, so good. We actually I'm not sure if he's announcing this, but I'm gonna tell you. We recorded a song together. It's one of his songs, and it's just like
Yeah.
such a
Oh, okay.
phenomenal song.
Yeah.
And I'm singing on that with him. And he's supported us before in our show back in January. And he's just kind of like it's like this kind of cool Americana bluegrass kind of thing. But yeah, Tommy Artis, you should check him out. He's great.
Yeah. I'm sure our listeners would love to have a look and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's why I asked
Yeah.
the question in the first place.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. These are my
Speaking about collaborations as well, like you said you've done that, but what kind of other plans do you to do with other
Yeah,
people?
I feel like collaborations that I've done haven't necessarily been something that I've kind of gone out with a specific intention of collaborating with somebody. It's kind of
Mm,
just happened quite organically where I'm either, you know, playing like I've played a gig with somebody and they're like, "Oh, do you want to try singing this?" Or so like we have recently the Often Heard, who are this like bluegrass band in the Northeast, but they played Glastonbury last year. They're going to do huge things. They're fantastic, and their fiddle player, who's also their like backing vocalist, he's a guy called Niles Krieger, and he started playing fiddle with me every now and then when he's available, which is infrequently because he's a very very busy, very very professional musician. But I think something that I would love to do is do a kind of more bluegrass song with them. And it's something that we've spoken about very, very briefly. I'm putting it out into
yeah.
the world now. You have to
Yeah.
manifest.
You need to find out now. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
there's
good.
definitely there's loads of people in the Northeast that I'd love to collaborate with, particularly more in that kind of country sound now that I'm quite confident that's the sound that I want to go more into. But the Often Heard, if you guys are listening.
I'm sure they are. Please listen to the Crescendo podcast for more information about.
I'll
No.
subtly share it with them.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. We're almost there. We're almost at the end, which is good. I mean, we could talk
This
for
is so
ages.
short.
I say this every episode, but we're gonna talk for hours and hours if we really had all the
Yeah,
time. But I
definitely.
had to edit this, so
Yeah, chop
no,
out
it's good.
all of my
Yeah, of
rambling.
course. Yeah, I'll get some short questions out for you. Like, okay, first question: favorite song to perform live?
With a band, merry-go-round, because it's just
Mm,
like so fun and so
yeah, that's the
fast and it just
sounds
gets you
in it.
excited. Yeah. And then
Yeah,
acoustically, we have a song that we're going to be recording probably in April. It's called Skinny Dipping in November. And I think it's one of those ones that when everybody listens to it, they kind of prick up because we have harmonies and it's so
yeah,
I think it's a beautiful song. It's probably the song that I'm most proud of having written.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
my favorite one to perform acoustic.
Of course. Yeah, you heard it first here, by the way. This is the place for premieres and no,
I
I'm
have a
joking.
preference. Like ask me about my kids.
No, premieres, yeah. You already answered Dream Venue, which is in Canada, which is
Yeah, Commodore
fantastic.
Ballroom for sure.
Could you, well, could you share a bit more about that place then? Like, why is it special?
Yeah, well, so I used to live in Whistler, so I would go to Vancouver quite frequently, and it felt like that place in Vancouver that everyone who was like cool would go to.
Yeah.
It was that cool venue, but then when I went there, it sounded amazing. It's so beautiful. It's like just and it's not huge, but it's just so like rich. And it was just yeah, it's just one of those places in like downtown Vancouver that I just think it's if you happen to be in Vancouver and you want something to do, regardless of who's playing, go to the venue because it's awesome. But then like other dream venue would probably be like Ali Pali, which I know
Oh,
is like
oh, of course it is.
because like,
Ali
how come
Pali.
without me? I saw
Yeah.
Haim there, and they were like,
Oh,
it
really?
was so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
How's the sound over there? I've never been there, like for
no,
any
it was great. I
performances.
mean, it
Yeah.
helps that like Haim are obviously incredible.
Yeah, of
Mm.
course.
But yeah, no, and it was one of those places that just it felt like the weight of the fact that it's Ali Pali, right? And it's just a
Yes,
cool
it is.
place.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that would be
yeah.
cool.
Well, and for the darts as well, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, acoustic or full band music.
At the moment,
Yeah.
acoustic, just
Okay.
because we've obviously been on the acoustic tour. So it's been all of the songs have just been sounding really good because we've practiced them so many times. But which one I have more fun doing would be the band, just because you can dance a bit more. And I feel like I can focus on singing a bit more because I don't have to necessarily like drive it with the guitar because there's so much going on. Um, but yeah, currently I think we're sounding really good acoustic.
Good. That's very good. Okay. Favorite place you performed at
On the tour or like
on
ever?
the tour?
On the
Forever, ever.
tour. Oh, on the tour it would be Leeds. We played in a venue called
Okay.
Leeds and Guitars in Leeds. And I'd like handpicked the support. So there was this girl called
Yeah.
Lillian, who's like a folk musician, and this girl called Madeline May, who's like this beautiful, like almost like Phoebe Bridges-esque, really like good songs. And like the venue was really cool anyways. But before we were playing, when they were playing their like house music, they were playing exclusively Steely Dan. So it's just like, this place is great.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then it was probably one of the busier shows that we did, and it was
Yeah.
just, but it was also like like pin drop quiet, which is really nice. So
Well, which,
yeah,
yeah,
that would probably be my
yeah.
favorite on the tour.
That's the question then. Like, would you like a loud crowd or a crowd that just basically just listen?
Oh, it's so like dependent
Yeah.
on like in a set because I feel like I've got a lot of these really like intimate, emotional songs, and if it's a really loud crowd, you lose the reason why it's good, right? Which is the story of it. And if you're not listening to the story, you're not going to connect with it. But then there are shows that we've done where, we're playing as a band, we're playing merry-go-round, we're doing like a Dolly Parton cover. People are
Yeah.
laughing and dancing, and that's also a great atmosphere. But I think at the moment on the tour, I
Yeah.
like a quiet room.
Yeah. 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 You can
Yeah, I love.
focus on what you're saying, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I like to
Yeah.
tell the story of a song, and if everyone's talking over me, I'm like, "You don't know the story."
Great.
But yeah, it's so mood.
Yeah. Great. That's the most surprising thing that's ever happened in tour.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
We're getting
that's
to
so
tough
difficult.
questions now, yeah?
I mean, something that was quite weird was when we were in Stoke-on-Trent, the venue wasn't open yet, and
Yeah.
Zach was really tired, so we ended up just going at the Morrison's car park and parking in the corner and having a nap in the car. That was something that was a bit unexpected. We weren't expecting
Expected.
to sleep in a
Yeah.
Morrison's car park on the tour. I don't know, unexpected. Maybe this is harsh, but I wasn't expecting to fall in love with Wrexham.
Really.
North Wales is just beautiful. Like, it wasn't raining, so that in itself is unexpected in Wales. And yeah, we did this like walk along the aqueducts, and we went to this place called Llangollen, and it was just like, it was just we both really want to go back to Wales because it's just. But I don't know. I'm not sure if I wasn't expecting to love it. I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that was cool.
You, you should go to Portsmouth. I mean, it's not because I came there and that kind of thing. Music scene, south, south and north. It's just so different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Zach's from Portsmouth. So
Yeah.
when we went to the Isle of Wight, we were staying in Portsmouth, and we really wanted to find a show there, but we were too tight with when we
Yeah.
booked
Of course.
all the shows that we
Yeah.
didn't have time to. But I think because his family is still down in Portsmouth, I think we're definitely
Yeah.
going to
Exactly.
get
Yeah.
a
Like
show there.
Wedgwood rooms and all the smaller places.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We looked at
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. You should do something with them. To be fair, they're always open. I'm sure. But yeah.
Don't mind me. I'm just writing that down so I don't
Yeah. Of course.
forget.
That's good. You see, and this is the podcast where all ideas come to shape. I love this episode. Man. It's
Yeah.
great. um, yeah. One artist you would like to collaborate with, if you have any.
So there's this artist called Joy Olarican. She sings a song called "I'd Miss the Birds," and she's just so cool and like really, really country, and her songs are just the most beautiful songs ever. And I just like when I sing along to her songs and I harmonize to them, I'm always like, that sounds great. So I would love to collaborate.
Yeah,
I would write a song with her because
yeah,
like her songs are just so beautifully written, and she's got such an interesting kind of bluesy way of playing guitar. So that would
yeah,
be
of
cool.
course.
That would be
Yeah,
my dream.
yeah, yeah, of course.
Or Natalie Main.
Um, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I was just thinking about a question, like basically, like you know the sound of your voice, you know that the style of your voice. Like when you
Mhm.
start singing with other people, like how do you stay? Well, that's just a good question. How do you stay like yourself and not like sounding like them or
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I think I've probably been lucky in the fact that I grew up with a twin sister who she's got a very kind of like almost like a deep, very soulful voice, and I've got quite a high, quite like pure voice. So I don't have that much gravel or grit in my voice, and she's got quite a lot in hers. So when we sing together, it really complemented each other really well. But there was definitely an element of being aware because when you sing together, the voices need to blend rather than just like almost like vying for attention, you know? So I think I got quite good at knowing when to hold back and knowing when to like push through. And yeah, there's definitely an element when there was a while there when I was just listening to Phoebe Bridgers on repeat and I was trying my hardest to sing like her. And it gets to a point where you're like, no, you have to you have to sing your own music in your own style. You can't start trying to write a song that sounds like a Phoebe Bridgers song because then it's a knockoff, right? There has to be an individuality
yeah,
to it. But yeah, I think that I've not necessarily had that problem so much because I grew up singing with people. So I've not really felt like I don't know how to have that kind of collaborative approach to singing. But but yeah, I don't know. I've loved harmonizing. Like harmonizing, I
yeah,
think is my favorite thing to do. I prefer it to singing solo.
the best thing. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
it's
best
just
thing.
because a harmony when it's done right just is so good. Like, it just sounds so nice, and so I'm glad that Zach has started to harmonize with me because I think our
But
voices but
yeah,
it's time, right? When Zach and I started singing together, it didn't sound great, and now we've been
yeah,
singing together for, like, almost 3 years, and we sound great together, you know, but
yeah,
he has to have that grace period of, like, understanding how and, like, he's from Portsmouth and I'm from Newcastle, so our accents are different, so
yeah.
even just
Well, not really.
crazy.
No, no. I don't think. Yeah, yeah.
I can't
But
sing
when
about
yeah,
Bath or something because 'cause he'd be singing Bath and it's like, it would sound so weird.
but I mean that's the point about like even relationships. Like it's just it just blossoms and it just
Yeah, and
becomes
it's
what it
finding
is.
the
Like, and
way that
you're
you
gonna write
gel
more
together.
songs about that, won't you?
I'm taking that. The next album
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
blossoming and I'll have to credit you.
Yeah, come on. Thank you, appreciate it. Yeah, yeah. It gives me more confidence now. Like
Yeah.
trying my own opinions. Not really
Yeah,
opinion. It's just thoughts and just yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
But that
this is a funny question. Like, if you weren't a musician, what you be doing? You know, you would be doing your
so
job, maybe.
yeah, well, right. I mean, yeah, I have my job, but I've thought about this so many times. I
Yeah,
genuinely think that I would be, and this sounds harsh to everyone who obviously does a 9 to 5 and doesn't do like a creative thing. But if I didn't have my like creative outlet and I was just doing my 9 to 5, I just don't think I'd be the happy person that I am. You know, like
yeah,
I feel like finishing my job at 5 p.m. and closing my laptop and then going and singing songs for 4 hours, like that makes me so happy.
yeah,
I don't think I could finish my job and then be like, what need to be busy? I need to be a busy
yeah,
person." So I think if I wasn't playing music, I don't think I would just be an accountant. Like, I don't think that would be an
yeah.
option for me. I
Well,
think I would have to
wouldn't
have a
be enough, would it? Yeah.
no, I don't think it would be. I'd have to have some kind of creative outlet. I used to play football, but I tore my ACL. I used to tell people that I could have gone pro.
Oh, they were could have gone much better than that.
So maybe.
Fair enough. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm on something. I'd probably still want to be on the stage, to be fair. I mean, I'm a terrible
Yeah, of
actor,
course.
but and I'm a
Ah,
terrible
you
dancer,
never
but
know.
I could be
You
a good
never
play.
know. You never know.
Yeah.
Well, not one word, but maybe one sentence to describe your music. Yeah.
One sentence describing music. I mean, I guess I'd say relatable. I feel like that's just the way that I always describe it, just because so many people have told me that. I guess like the whole ethereal thing has to come in, because there's definitely an element of it where the vocal is so important to me, right? But yeah, I'd also just kind of, I'd say like therapeutic, maybe.
Yep. Maybe,
Because
yeah.
yeah, I think there is an element of like listening to a song that's clearly when somebody was in a bad way, but they're processing and they're working through it. I feel like that's quite nice as a listener to like. I love those kind of songs. They're my favorite kind of songs where I'm like, okay, you were dealing with a hard time, but you've dealt with it, right? So yeah, I would probably say my music's quite therapeutic
That's
for me,
that's
anyway.
that's that sounds just about right. One final question, like when you're touring, you're done. What do you do after? What do you do to relax?
So I am a huge tea drinker. I love a tea. I love an Earl Grey tea. But I would say I'm not necessarily like a, you know, do a shot and go out. It's not really me. But I would say after a show, it takes me a while to come down, even when it's just an acoustic show and it's like this kind of very chill. You don't necessarily have this big adrenaline rush of this feeling of the crowd, but it's still like you still have that kind of poignant feeling of like that was great. So it takes me a little while to come down. So I like to just switch off, not listen to any music,
Yes,
switch off, have a cup of tea. At the moment, I've been watching Bridgerton. That's great.
right. Yeah, that's
But
good.
like,
Yeah,
just do something like completely ordinary. Just have a cup of tea, have a crumpet. God, I'm the most British person.
this British person. Yeah, I'm not
Crumpet
British,
jam,
unfortunately,
Earl
but
Grey tea with
I can
Bridgerton.
tell. Yeah, that's the same thing. Like when I first came here, like I'm from Malaysia, so
Yeah.
everything's different. Music scene, like people like rock back home. I was like, just I have enough of I have enough of that kind of music. Like when I come here, it's like, oh, it's all indie and it's all
Would you say
alternative.
it's like more eclectic here then?
I think yeah, mostly
Yeah.
because of just experiences and that kind of thing. It's just the country's just so big. When you
Yeah,
travel to
sure.
everywhere else, it's just it's just different. Like yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. You should come to Malaysia. So
I need
yeah, you
to.
should travel more.
And
Yeah.
I
Oh
don't have
yeah.
a peanut allergy like your last two
Yeah.
guests.
Yeah.
So
Well, I could cook things without peanuts.
sorry, just accidentally
That's a
did this.
no, no, don't worry. That yeah, comes the question, isn't it? Like, where do you want? What where would we like to travel a lot, like long term?
I've never gone anywhere in Asia, and I would love to. Like, there's so many. Like, I'm not sure if yeah, maybe like I'd love to go to Japan. I think that's. But I like to when I was in Canada, I was skiing, so I'd love to do like a winter in Japan. I'd
Yeah,
love to go to India. I think that's a huge place I'd love to go. And I want to go back to Canada. Really, I know I've been there. I know I've lived there,
yeah.
but
You
there's
live
so
there.
much
You
more
want
to
to be
see more.
there. Y-
But yeah, there's a lot of traveling that I want to do, and maybe music could take me there. That would be cool.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because yeah, that's good. Honestly, like I appreciate your time. I really want
Yeah.
to go see
Yeah.
you.
Well, yeah, you should come to
It's gonna
Darlington.
yeah,
It'd be great fun.
it's gonna be so fun. Like it's gonna be
Yeah,
so
it's gonna
good.
be a good show for sure.
It's gonna be good. Yeah. Right. Thank you very much. This is Hels Pattison. I can't believe it, but this has been going on for a long time.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
Humble.
joking now, no, but I really enjoyed your time. Yeah. Thanks very much.
Yeah, really enjoyed speaking to you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.